Good evening. It's about 8 o'clock and getting a little bit of a late start. I want to try something a little different tonight. My walk and talk will probably be 10 minutes long or so. And then I was going to pause the camera. I don't know how close I'll be to home by then, but put it on pause. And my plan is when I get back home, I got that piece of artwork I was talking about. I want to start the camera up again and put that right at the end of the artwork. So if that doesn't happen, it's because I don't know how to do it or the camera turned off before I got home. But I have to learn how to do that. That's editing. And I just have to learn how to insert, a still picture or something into the video. Let's see. What's on my mind tonight? Well, my sister sent me an interview with Robert Kennedy Jr. Let's see, what's the guy's name? Major Garrett. I believe it was CBS News, about a 45-minute interview. And I sat through it. I could take about, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 minutes of it. I know enough about the guy. Anywho, a couple of things about him. It's difficult for me to get past his voice. It's difficult to understand him. Then the other thing is, I don't want to say he's unattractive, but I grew up with John Kennedy and Robert Kennedy Sr. These guys were like Hollywood handsome, And I don't know what happened to Robert Kennedy Jr., but he's got some miles on him. I know he was a heroin addict there for 12 or 15 years, so that may have taken a toll on him. So he's just not real pleasant to look at. So what about what he had to say? Well, I wouldn't be uncomfortable with him being president. I think he'd be fine. I don't think he's crazy or anything like that. I don't think he'd get us blown up. But basically, the interview was him complaining about all the problems that we have in the United States. He thinks that the drug companies are in cahoots with the FDA. He says our soil has been poisoned, our food has been poisoned. And he's pretty controversial about the vaccine. I don't know exactly what his position is. I don't think he's totally anti-vax. I think he just felt like there wasn't enough testing done or something like that. So his position seemed a little bit extreme. But like I say, I wouldn't have trouble with him being president. However, in all of his complaining about all the things that he didn't like about the United States, in fact, that we're so divided right now, he really didn't give any solutions. He basically spoke in generalities. I want to fix that. We need to work on that. But I never heard any ideas, which is not atypical of a politician. I will say, it's got to be a month or so ago, when Trump was in Las Vegas, and he had one of his rallies, and he said that if he was president, he would eliminate the income tax on tips. Now, this is not his idea. This idea has been kicked around for quite a long time, but I think it's a really good idea, and I think it's a smart political thing to do. Nevada, I think, went for the Democrats the last time. It was fairly close, but, there's a lot of people that work in the service industry in Nevada who depend on tips for a living. And I just think that that's an excellent idea that put real cash in the hands of people, and they don't have to report it. The way they do it these days is apparently when you're working for like a hotel or restaurant or something like that, they guesstimate how much you're making in tips, and then they just deduct a certain additional amount on your income tax to cover that. And generally speaking, it's less than what you would normally pay if you were being honest about it. So rather than make people cheat, I think it's a good idea. Just eliminate it altogether. Would simplify things terrifically and put much deserved money into the pockets of hardworking people. So if and when Trump says something that I agree with, I think I should say, yeah, it's a good idea. Doesn't happen very often. I'm trying to think of anything else that he has said that I concur with. Probably have to think about that for a while. So what else is going on? Oh, I talked a little bit yesterday about the governor of Minnesota. I couldn't pronounce his last name. I didn't know his last name. So his name is Tim Walz. W-A-L-Z. Walz. And his list of accomplishments, I'm going to have to write them down on a little cheat card so I can spool them off to you. They're quite lengthy, and they're populist type things, you know, health care for everybody, pre-K, 12 weeks leave after a woman gives birth to a baby, legalize weed, just a list of stuff that really, just really good. Oh, lunches, make sure the kids have lunches at school, etc. The guy's terrific. He's really popular, and like I said, really a good speaker. Now he's 60 years old, which is a little bit older than I would prefer, but I think he'd be a real good addition to Kamala Harris's ticket. And I got a feeling probably by next week, she will announce who her pick is. And she wants to do that before the convention, so they got a little bit more time to campaign, which I think is a really good idea. So it looks like it's going to be her. Apparently she's got the delegates lined up. Obama has endorsed her. And she's had some rallies, and they've gone real well. And Fox Corporation is just in a tizzy about how do we attack her. Oh, let's attack her on her silly laugh. Well, you know something? Donald Trump doesn't laugh. Just saying. And J.D. Vance with his comment about the country is being run by single women with cats. And I thought, you know something? This is really strange because he converted to Catholicism, I don't know, it's like maybe 5 years or so ago. And I don't know if he knows this, but there's about 300,000 nuns, Catholic nuns in this country who are not married. And I'm sure there's more priests than that, probably at least as many. So they don't have any kids. And then think about all of the couples that have tried to have kids and have been unsuccessful. How many poor women that have been pregnant and then had miscarriages and then just weren't able to carry a baby to term, or did in vitro fertilization. That didn't work. So he wants to punish them. Like, he thinks that they shouldn't be able to vote. Let's take the vote away from them because they don't have a stake in America like a person with kids does. But you know, when they buy a house and they pay property tax, a portion of that property tax has to go to the public schools to support the public schools, to support the education of somebody else's kids. And they do that. And they do it willingly because they know that's beneficial to the culture, to have educated people in the culture. So there's that. And there's the rumor that Trump is not too happy about his VP pick. Like to maybe he's got some buyer's remorse on that. Like to be able to do that over again. But he hates to admit he's wrong. That's the thing about them, man. The chances of him ever doing something like that are just absolutely nil. And then, I thought of something else too, about something that Kennedy said in the interview. And I'm not going to sit down and fact check everything he said, but he said a lot of stuff that made me suspicious. One of the things that he said, and I'm pretty sure I'm accurate on this, I'd have to go over the video and look at it again. He said that the campaigns are going to spend $50 billion on this presidential run. $50 billion, right? Think about that for a moment. I think Kamala Harris has got in the neighborhood of $250 million. That's, I think, if you divided the 50 billion in half, 25 billion per campaign, 250 million, I believe, is 1/1000th of the amount that he's predicting the candidates are going to have. So if my math is correct, they both better get real busy, because they only have like 3 months before the election, and I don't see how they're going to raise $24.5 billion in 3 months. So just saying. So it's getting kind of dark. Yeah, the sun's going down. We had the fire going again today, and it looks to me like they pretty much got it under control. It kind of flared up today, but I think they got it knocked down. They were able to really get on it with the airplanes. So hopefully that will be out tomorrow. So what I'm going to do now, like I said at the beginning, I'm going to put the phone on pause, and hopefully it'll stay on until I get home and I can take a picture of that artwork. If not, this is goodbye.